welcome to NAMM 2019. We've got some new cables here that I think you'll find very interesting. I developed a special line of USB cables that actually improve audio quality. We have a demonstration here that we're running for people, producing really surprising results. And I'll show you what it is. We're actually using an Apogee Groove headphone amplifier DAC and switching between a conventional USB cable and our new upgraded cable, Starlight 8. Anyway, it really is a surprising test because you can just hear a lot more through the Starlight, and the sound is really more dynamic also than the conventional cable. Since we're doing it over headphones, we can do it in a noisy room like this, but the difference is much greater if you do it at home or in the studio where it's quiet. The cable is called Starlight, and the yellow cable is called Chroma. These cables use our new insulation technology that reduces noise and what we believe is the best shield ever used in a USB cable. Lots of people are surprised to hear that a USB cable can improve sound quality, because when you're saving files, everything is loss-free. But when you actually are playing music through a USB connection, a significant sound quality loss takes place with a standard cable. Our Starlight cable, the red, is actually the best model in this line, and the improvements it makes are really surprising. First thing people say is the sound is a little bit louder, but it actually is because the sound is more dynamic, especially in the deep bass. But overall, voice reproduction improves, and if you're running everything through an interface, doing your recording or playback, these can make really surprising improvements in your sound for not a lot of money. We make them in all connection standards for USB, including the new USB-C. So I hope you get a chance to hear these things for yourselves. We're also showing our guitar cables. We've got several models, but the most popular one is called Polaris. The cable is extremely flexible. We offer the option of switch plugs, and the sound is really surprising compared to other cables. The bass goes deeper, the highs go higher, there's more texture in the string sound, and it's just a gorgeous sound. So we've got a number of great artists using the cable and really loving it. We're also demonstrating our high-end guitar cable called Oasis. This uses our patented DNA helix design, which reduces audible loss, and our custom blended composite insulation material that reduces noise. The connectors are also proprietary. The plating, unlike other brands, is actually silver and very thick. Since silver is the most conductive metal, this is really the only plating option compared to standard nickel that you can really hear the improvement. When we developed the cable, actually our listening tests are comparing a cable to the direct output from the guitar. And this so far is the cable that comes the closest to revealing all of the tone and texture and dynamics that a guitar is capable of putting out. We've got a whole variety of cables for studio and stage use, including upgraded speaker cables that also provide the same kind of improvements that people are expecting with our cables. This is the Neutrik Speak-On connector you see on a lot of the better cabinets nowadays, and we make those to order for whatever people need. The connections from microphones are just as critical as instruments. This is our Luna microphone cable, which is the entry level. But when you compare this cable to the Mogamis and standard conventional cable designs, you could really hear more through it. And Luna is actually a dual application cable. As our other cables, contacts are actually silver plated, and a silver plate connection on one side of each of your connections will produce lower noise than gold up against gold. That's why we do it. The sound quality is actually improved by using silver. The structure of the cable itself uses our patented DNA helix design, and this cable is 110 ohms, so it's applicable to microphone, line level connections, and AES EBU digital. We also use this same design cable in our snakes, which provide substantial improvements even over long lengths in a studio application. It took me many years to develop it. The patent came through in 2013. But we're talking about a technology that replaces coaxial and twin-ax designs that have literally been around for over 100 years. So if you haven't heard a cable really make a big improvement, you need to hear this cable. So this is the new Wireworld Oasis microphone cable. The cable is extremely flexible, and on the outside it looks like a conventional cable. But when you listen to this cable, it's really quite a bit different. I spent many years developing this design we call DNA Helix, received a patent on it in 2013, and it actually was developed by comparing cable to direct connections until we were able to reduce the loss that we could hear in the cable. So the sound has better clarity, better dynamics. It's a really impressive improvement. The differences between most cables seem very subtle until you get to this cable, when you could really hear a lot more tone and texture through it. It's really amazing upgrade on vocal microphones or any analog connection that's critical in your audio chain. Another category of cable that I want to bring your attention to is Ethernet. Now, of course, everybody knows that we can send signals over long distances in the digital world, and Ethernet running through buildings is very effective at doing that. And of course, in the studio world, we know that a wired connection is preferable to wireless. But what's really surprising is when we compare the sound we can get through a network to the sound that we can get playing from a local file source, the local source sounds dramatically better. This cable was developed to reduce that loss, and once you use it, at least in the last connection to the device, the sound quality becomes much closer to the clarity and dynamic sound of the local file source. So you'll be surprised when you hear these improvements, but you don't even need this cable to do the test, since you only need to compare the sound of the same song coming through your network to the sound of it being played off of a local file. Another interesting product in the Wireworld line are our power cords. Now, when you think about everything that people spend nowadays for power conditioning in a studio, there is no doubt that we know that power is important. Another thing that could go wrong, of course, is if the power cords are not shielded, all that investment that you made in power conditioning is actually diluted by the fact that the power cords can pick up noise and interference. So in the development of Wireworld power cords, of course, we went with a shielding structure that is extremely effective, but there's more that this cable can do. Because it's flat, we're able to go to a 12 gauge power cord and have it coil up very conveniently. So it packs really well. It's also a filtering device. We actually call it a power conditioning cord. And if you've ever plugged in an amplifier and heard the transformer hum, that's actually because of harmonics on the power line that are not supposed to be there. When these harmonics go through the transformer, they end up mixing with your music and creating a muddy sound. The amazing thing about Wireworld power cords is just listening to the sound of the transformer. When you turn it on, you'll notice the noise is substantially lower. And so that is just another indication of how effective these things are at improving sound quality. I hope you get a chance to hear this for yourself. Thank you. I'm David Salz of Wireworld Pro Audio.